You like Pokemon cards, right?
I do.
Especially when there's like actual Pokemon on the cards, yeah?
I don't know where you're going with this, but yeah.
All right, let me be clear. Are you for or against waifu cards in Pokemon?
Yeah, you know, I'm for them. It depends which ones we're talking about, though.
Yeah.
You get any in particular? Or?
Who's your favorite waifu card?
Oh, come on, man. You know this
Come
one.
on, man. Who?
Candace.
Oh my god. As if you're gonna hit me with the reverse Candace. Come on, man.
Come on, bro.
That's actually good. Nice. Well played. Who are you and why do thousands of people watch you open Pokemon cards on YouTube?
I'm PokeRev, and people watch me, I guess, to have fun. I mean, that's the main thing, like, is to get a good laugh in. Like, I hope that's what happens when people watch anyway. You
started on YouTube, as far as I know anyway, back in like 2019, so kind of pre-boom. You had a bit of history in the Pokemon space well and truly before that.
Yeah, so 2019 was when I started the channel. I started collecting in early 2016, end of 2015-ish.
How did your collection get started? Because the Poker Cave, I know your backdrop has changed a little bit in the last couple of years, but the original backdrop, like the original Poker Cave, it was a spectacle, man. Like you had a lot of crazy stuff in that collection spanning back decades. How did that all get started?
Well, it's a funny story. So I really stumbled upon Pokemon cards again by just browsing eBay. Like I was looking for the old video games, like the red version, blue version, gold version, all that stuff. And like, it just came up on the side, the sponsored side. And I saw like a base set booster box and I was so curious. I didn't even realize you could even still buy like the older Pokemon cards. And I just bought a base set box of Pokemon cards. I think it was $700, $800. And I bought the box, and as soon as I got that thing, that was it. Like I was hooked again. So
like kind of snowballed all from there. How did you continue it though? Because starting a collection, there's a bit of an initial outlay. You got to put a lot of money into it to get to some collection, like the kind of collection that you got now. I'm assuming anyway, that like probably a little bit of cash went into it. So were you buying, trading, selling, or?
Yeah, all the above, like buying, trading, meeting up with people in like really weird locations, and like just anything that I could do to like kind of get some Pokemon cards. And it was I was doing mainly like the older stuff for the first, I want to say like year and a half. It was just all the older stuff I was just hooked on. I wanted to like start with base and go through the jungle, fossil, base 2, rocket, etc., and just kind of expand through that and kind of just go back in time, man. Like it was just like a time machine for me. And I did that for a good year or two, just going back in time. And then I started moving into, more modern sets and stuff like that. It just got hooked like completely.
I found your channel. It wasn't actually via a Pokemon card video. It was by your video where you were saying how you almost lost everything and how you were really close to giving up. This is like back in 2019.
Yeah.
In that vid, you spoke a little bit about, I guess, your history and where you came from. You said you dropped out of college. There's no shame in that, by the way, because I think college is it is and it isn't a bit of a scam. But that would have been pretty scary, like especially that age. There's a lot of uncertainty. So where did you go from there?
I originally started out, I went to community college, and I tried for a couple months and it just wasn't for me. And I went back and forth to different colleges. I think I tried like 3 different community colleges over like a 5-year span, in and out of different jobs. And eventually I just kind of on the side, I was trying to figure out like, okay, like what can I do to kind of just start building my own thing up and kind of make my own path in a way. And I started getting into all kinds of different things. I started buying and selling early days, like on Amazon before there were, there's a lot of people on there now. The competition's pretty fierce. I eventually started manufacturing my own products. Then I started manufacturing the products overseas. So I built up like multiple, I guess, smaller scale businesses that I could scale up through using like Amazon and eBay and stuff like that. Yeah. I did that into like my early mid 20s. And then I started branching off and getting into Pokemon, and started spending more time with Pokemon, and more time. Like every year passed, I'd spend a little bit more time towards Pokemon, a little bit more. Till 2019, I went full time with it and went full blown. I was like, I'm all in on it now. Like I'm just going to go for it. And like, if I fail, I would just be fine with that, man. Like if I lost everything and I failed doing Pokemon cards, I'd at least tried what I wanted to do in my life, and I would have no regrets. I'd have more regret not trying to go after what I wanted rather than, failing at it. So
it's a bit of a journey, entrepreneurship. Like, what you're doing here on YouTube, it all is all self-built. Everything you learn along the way gets you to this point where you're at now, and the channel is massive. Like you've achieved incredible success in such a short period of time too. You know, usually channels will be around for years, you know, almost decades before they hit that 1 million mark. You punched right through that with the live streaming. So how did you stumble upon, I guess, that recipe of success there on YouTube?
By messing up a lot. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like trying and failing multiple times over. But I think the main thing with kind of, I guess, quote unquote, like being successful on YouTube with whatever you're doing, whether it's Pokemon or whatever it is just taking it day by day. Yeah, like in the beginning days of it, I was like, I felt so overwhelmed because I'm like, oh my God, I have to like fix this. I have to do this. I need this camera. I need this mic. I need to present myself like better on camera and learn how to talk better on camera. I just got so overwhelmed. So I just took a step back and I was like, every day that I do this, I just want to improve on one thing, yep. Whether it's like turning this light like slightly that way, or whether it's, you know, it's being better on camera, or whether it's upgrading something or doing this or that, or getting a better idea. Just one day, one thing. And over the course of multiple days, every day, day in and day out, you get better and better and get more comfortable doing what you what you want to do in the end is just to be able to sit down and entertain people and have fun yourself and like make, you know, be able to do this full time and at the end of the day. So yeah, it's kind of just like a day in, day out type thing. Try to improve yourself little by little.
Yeah. You're very natural. Like this doesn't feel like rigid or anything. Like it's super chill. And I think you've perfected that formula, dude.
Hey, well, you're killing it too, man. Like I've been watching you for a while now. So I love your style.
Thanks, man. It's the same. I try to tackle the same principle. Like it can feel like you have to tick every box. You have to do everything perfectly every time you hit record. But I think it's got easier for me the less I cared about it.
Yeah. I agree.
Without like not like I don't care about it, but like the less I worried, the better it got, I felt.
Yeah. The less you're worried about it, the better you're going to be and the more comfortable you're going to be. And then just be yourself at the end of the day, you know, just try to be yourself and have fun.
You mentioned a little bit earlier when we were talking about how you got back into collecting Pokemon cards. The impetus for that was looking for games like Red, Blue, Yellow. I see you've got like a massive video game collection. So tell me a little bit about that, because that's probably one of the things I'd be most curious about with Rev. I know you do a few videos showing your 64 collection. I don't think you had a PS1 growing up, did you?
I was supposed to get PS1 on, I want to say maybe like my 10th or 11th birthday, maybe younger than that, maybe like 9 or something. I was ready to go, man. My mom was like, yeah, you're going to get the PS1 for your birthday. I was like, yes, this is happening. This is cool. It was my birthday. I was like, I felt like so good. I was thinking about playing Crash Bandicoot, Tomb Raider. Like I was ready. And so we went outside and we were getting ready to go. I was talking to my brother. I'm one of 5. We're one of 5 boys, so I have 4 younger brothers. And we were like, yeah, we're gonna have so much fun. And so we went outside, and my mom was like, "Oh, can you go check in the lawn shed? There's can you see if there's something in there?" And there's whatever. Like my dad left something in there. I forget. So I was like, yeah, sure. So I opened it up. I was like, I saw this bike in there, and I was like, whoa, this is a bike. I was like, no way, that's cool. And she was like, yeah, it's Reed's for your birthday. And I was like, oh, it's cool. But, you know, obviously being a kid, I hopped on that thing. I was like, whoo, this is cool. I did a couple of spins around and I was like, all right, Mom, let's get going. Toys R Us probably be good. Walmart, where are we going? She's like, this is your birthday present. And, you know, being a kid, you're just like, no, like, freaking out, like, totally just like so like bummed out that I wasn't getting it. So I never got it. But yeah. So I had N64 as a kid.
Yeah.
And but just like N64 was it. That was like the first console that I really like felt super, super attached to. And yeah, like so I just tried to rebuild my childhood collection. I think in that video, I don't really think I showed many of my loose carts or like my complete in box games or anything. It was mostly just like the stuff in here, like the sealed collection and stuff. But yeah, like it's funny because I think I built up this collection probably like a year or 2 before that big boom happened with everything, with, you know, the whole gaming market went nuts and everything. But yeah, so I got in, I grabbed everything. Yeah. And then I stopped like 6 months before that whole thing happened. But I think it came back down now. It's probably still way higher than it was before. But yeah,
it's
so you
grind,
collect games too?
It's a grind. Yeah, I've been collecting. Yeah. I was into video game collecting well before I was into Pokemon card collecting. It was like my main collection goal, like the core of it. But it got crazy, man. Like I got priced out probably, yeah, like you said, probably like 6 months before that boom. I got as much as I could before then. And it's weird because like you look back on it and you're like, oh, should I have got more? Like, why was I so stupid? Like, I probably should have bought more. Or would that have been greedy? Or would I have overextended myself? I don't know. I look back at my collection. I'm happy with what I've got here. But I won't deny that, yeah, there's gaps in it that feel like I'm never going to be able to fill. Especially because, like, when I collect broadly. So I don't really just focus on one console. I'll collect Dreamcast. I'll collect Game Boy Advance. I'll collect PS2, PS1, DS, and Sega Saturn, which is, like, super, super difficult. Especially here in Europe, because we had the cardboard cases. Yeah. You guys had the jewel cases. So it's so hard to find anything that's like actually in good condition. But all those like Grail games, like stuff like Panzer Dragoon Saga, like they're just gone for me now.
Yeah, the early day Sega console stuff,
so
like
good,
even
man.
Genesis, yeah, it's so hard to find.
Like Super Nintendo, even like back in like 2019, 2018, we would buy, because me and my buddies, we collect pretty hardcore. We were getting stuff like Super Metroid, Donkey Kong Country, all those like massive Grail games now, like $20, $40, like unfathomable prices. It's just gone now.
I know, it's crazy. I haven't bought really any games since like 3 years ago. I feel like,
yeah, I don't really like the graded side of game because I play them. That's why I get them, because like you can emulate. You know, it's questionable, whatever. I like the physicality of it. I like plug it into like a CRT or, you know, an old school TV. Put the controller in my hand. I want to hear the disc spinning. It just feels better rather than chucking on the PC.
No, a PC just kills like the whole everything about the nostalgia.
The vibe. Yeah, the vibe just goes.
Yeah, it's gone.
You're a man that from the outside looking in, you know, it looks like you've got almost everything. You have a massive collection spanning years. Is there something that you don't have though? It feels like you could just go and buy whatever it is that you're missing.
Yeah. So, I mean, when I collect, I really like to pull the card, and it sounds kind of crazy, but I mean, from a lot of my videos and stuff, I'll go in and I'll obviously just try to pull, which, you know, is never the best way to go about things 99.9% of the time. Like, not really.
12 hours later.
Yeah, it's never a good idea. But yeah, there's cards that I've sold that I pulled myself and I regret selling them because I like the attached memory to the exact card. So for me, yeah, it's really like about that experience and remembering like, oh, this card, that card, that card. So I don't typically buy a lot of like loose cards, and it's kind of weird. I don't know if I'm weird for that, but it's just kind of how I've always collected things.
I get it, man. Like the feeling and the memory is a big part of it. Like click and check out is not the same as, man, after like, you know, weeks, months, 10 boxes, 20 boxes, finally. It's a rush. I think it's kind of like why people love watching your content, because they want to see that journey. They want to go along the ride with you. They feel like they're next to you when you finally pull it. And you've got a pretty good ability of evoking that emotion and drawing that out of people too.
Yeah. Like I said, I just try to make it as fun as I can.
What's your biggest regret? Because you said there was a couple of cards that you wish you kind of hadn't sold. What are those cards?
Kind of random, but Kabutops, Neo Discovery, First Ed Hollow. I pulled that probably 2016. The one when it's underwater, like really cool.
Yeah.
Close-up shot. And graded it, pulled the 10. And Kabutops, it was something with my childhood that I had a real strong attachment to, because when I played soccer, I was nicknamed Kabutops because I was always like, when we were, you know, practicing, I was always at the front running as fast as I could. Like, I don't know why, but I always was trying, like, I don't know. I was like a little kid. And I was like, I don't know what I was doing. I don't know if I was like flexing on them or what back in the day, but I was like running as fast as I could. So, and when I'd run, I looked like a Kabutops. So they nicknamed me Kabutops. And then from there on out, I was like, I always have to run as fast as I can now because like I have the Kabutops. But yeah. So I when I pulled that card, it was like that was probably the coolest artwork for me for Kabutops. And I don't know, I sold it. So I haven't pulled one.
Why'd you sell it?
It was in my early days, and I was just like, I was kind of like churning and burning stuff to just kind of like build up the money to be able to buy more stuff that I wanted. And I do, like in the earlier days while I was collecting and stuff like that I wanted for my collection, I also made a lot of errors, or at least I feel like they were errors on my end of selling things that I wasn't able to acquire again, because specifically like you said, like we can buy the card in a 10, probably can go on eBay and find one or wherever. But yeah, for me, it's like now I'm back at like, okay, I need to pull that card. I need to grade it, and I like to collect them in 10. So,
dude, you're in
yeah,
the hole, man. You're in
So it's like
deep.
that's not happening, bro.
Yeah,
Because I think I opened a box of it, and it was like, it was, the price was 10% of what it is now, or something less than that, probably.
yeah. That
So,
is
yeah, it's weird.
that's I'm not saying like you're crazy or insane for that, but like the concept and idea of it is wild. I don't think unless you're like collecting Pokemon cards or you're in the collecting sphere, I don't think people really understand that feeling. I totally get it. Like it makes sense, but
Yeah.
to the point where you like, because you could just, like you said, you could just go on eBay, you could just buy that card.
Yep.
But it's about the challenge. It's about the journey. That's insane.
Yeah, and that journey for those cards is, it's pretty slim to none of happening at that point.
That's your favorite era, isn't it? That early 2000s, WotC, like the Neo, the second gen, basically, of Pokemon cards.
Yeah, I would say so. It's really like one thing with me was when I was doing Pokemon cards back in the early days, it was all Gen 1, and I fell off. I played Gen 2 video games and stuff like that for all the games that came out Gen 2, but I stopped with the cards, so I never got that connection as a kid with those Gen 2 cards. So as an adult, when I was started off at base again, and I started going through, and I got to the Neos, I was just like blown away because I'd never seen them, but I had such a strong connection to those Gen 2 Pokemon that it just like was nostalgia to me, right? Like we're just taking that old school vibe and just bringing it back into like now, and it just blew me away. So I love Neos so much.
I get it, because I guess like my family, we didn't come from a lot of money growing up. So, and my parents gave me a fantastic childhood. Like my mom and my dad, they did things for me that, you kind of just had to be there in the 90s. But I was kind of similar, because when I was growing up, I was into base set and that first gen of Pokemon. But second gen was where I was really like fully into it. I'd kind of grown up as a kid. I love the games. Like I've so much affinity with that era. But things got tough for us, and mum just couldn't buy Pokemon cards for me as much as she wanted to. One of my most distinct memories as a kid, though, is opening up a pack, and I remember distinctly where I was as well. This was at our local. We have Kmart's here, like you guys have Walmart's. Kmart is like our big department store. There's like a sound and vision section, and it was in the corner of the store. And I used to always run straight there whenever we'd go. And she got me a pack, and I opened it up, and I'd found the Shining Gyarados. It wasn't first edition, but like that was. It was insane. Like it was just the one pack that she bought me that day. And I think I probably opened like 20 packs in that Neo period, but I had no idea what I was looking at. I was like, such a thing even possible? I didn't even know this existed. The rarity number was like, it was past the set number. And I was like, wait, is this real? Is this fake? Like the most important card in my collection. I actually lost it when I moved. I found it, thankfully. But like when I look at like that early 2000 WotC era, I have the same feeling. Like I want to open up so many of those packs. It's just too expensive for me. But one thing you might like, because I'm really into playing Pokemon at the moment. I found a seller that was selling like a whole bunch of these energy cards. So like my deck is just it's kind of like player bling, because these are a little bit more expensive, but it feels really good to play these because it just takes you back.
Yeah, that's sick, man.
Yeah.
Do you remember where you pulled that card, like where you were?
Yeah, I could go there. The shop has changed since. It's totally different, but I could feel it. Like talking about it, and it's why, like, if I lost that card permanently, because I was myself, if I could go and buy it, I think it's like $1,000 card, like even if that, but it's just not the same. So it's a weird collector thing that we have.
I mean, dude, look, like if you could, go back in time, and I think about it sometimes, it's like, what would you do as a kid? Like, is there a set that you would go and you would just instantly run to and like grab packs of? Is there anything like that you would specifically pick up?
Yeah, it's Neo Genesis. Like I would just go ham. I would just, until I couldn't eat anymore, I would rip into that forever. I have like 3 Ampharos. Like that was the rare card that I kept finding. So I don't have that many rare cards, but they're Ampharos holo, which is fine. Like I love Ampharos, one of my favorite Pokemon. I've got an Ampharos statue here.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. It would be the same for you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, honestly, like the Neos, 100%. But like, I like I said, I was doing the Generation 2 games, but just due to like peer pressure and stuff like that in school, it was like I was at the age where it was middle school, and it's like you can't do Pokemon anymore. That's not cool, man.
Yeah, man.
Gotta gotta go like do your thing and do whatever else kids are doing. I don't remember. Play wall ball. You ever play that? Is there a ball at the wall or something?
We used to play down ball. You know, like I think maybe you guys call it Foursquare.
Oh yeah. Foursquare. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Dude, if you didn't live across the world, I'm just saying, like, feel bad even showing you this, but in 2 weeks.
You gonna flex on me like this? Oh man,
I'm not flexing because I literally just announced it yesterday that we're opening this in 2 weeks. If you were here, you could just rip into this thing.
This feels like it feels like a paid ad. You just literally snuck in. By the
way, it's gone. They're gone though.
I'll allow it. I'll be there to watch it, man. You say that you try to like find the cards that you want rather than go out and buy them. But are there some cards that are just so hard to obtain that you've gone after? Like, what's the hardest card I guess you've chased after besides that Kabutops?
I mean, first edition base set Charizard. Like, there was a time when I was opening first edition base packs on the regular, and I've pulled it. Obviously, you know, when you're talking about like rarity, I guess it's like obviously it's not any rarer than a Blastoise from base set or Venusaur, but you know, the Charizard chase.
It's what people want.
Yeah, I guess like that would probably be the biggest. Would it be the biggest chase? I guess probably like the biggest chase card. But like I don't know. Like then you think about it, and there's like plenty of EX cards that are way more difficult to pull. So it comes down to I guess like a price that the product cost versus like how tough it is to pull. But like, dude, like if you had as many base set packs as like the most modern set, the modern set would be so much more difficult. Like 10 out of 10 times the pull versus the Charizard from base. But
are you into promos? Because I know a lot of collectors know that promo cards have this level of elusivity that is far beyond something that you can find from a pack. A lot of the time promos, there's a lot of promos out there that are short print, so there's fewer of them in the world. Do you get into promo collecting much at all?
Yeah, I've been wanting to do a video. I've had this bin of these promo cards from like 1999 all the way through to like 2000 and I want to say 10 maybe 2008, and like the best of promos like all sealed, and it's like the craziest promo collection because it was from like a big buyout of this store where this guy had leagues and he literally would keep like all like the different promo.
Wow,
it's so wild to look at, man. And like I have those and I've been wanting to go through them, but I haven't had the time. But there was I'm actually really jealous of the Precious collector box that you have back there.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
yeah. I love that card that comes with. But Pikachu, I ordered it. I never got it. Like it stopped tracking 2 months ago, and it just fell off, and I was so mad. It just like disappeared.
I got one. I got a second one if you want to buy it, man.
Oh, dude. So you always have to have a backup, though. Did you open it?
That's the thing. I bought two because one I was going to open, and the other. I mean, sealed collecting is a big part of Pokemon as well. I've got my sealed collection. Yeah, I haven't opened it yet. I was planning to do like a video of like. I was like. Hopefully Rev doesn't do this vid before I does because you're on top of it. But I was going to do Golden Collection promo box versus Precious collector box. Sometimes you do that comparison. Yeah. Because I still haven't even opened the Golden Collector's box, the 20th anniversary one. So yeah, I'm a bit overdue on my promo collection. Yeah.
Especially because you'd need that too in the video because like you just open the Precious collector box.
It's just nothing in it. Yeah.
All right. See you guys on the next one.
That's it. It's like a 60-second. Here's the promo. All right. See ya.
Yeah. Later.
Yeah. The PokeCave has like a massive collection, stuff that you can't exactly go on eBay and just buy from, buy it now or win it at an auction. What's like the craziest item in your collection that, when you bought it, you were like, man, that was weird. I probably don't want to do that again.
What do you mean by that? Like not want to do that again? Just like something.
I feel like some of the stuff that you've bought at some point, like, comes from deals that are non-typical. I'm not saying like sus or shady or anything, but yeah, I've definitely bought stuff online and gone to pick it up and been like, am I about to get jumped or something? Is this a setup or what?
Yeah, that's funny. I used to do a lot more deals, I feel like, in person. I mean, there have been deals that I've done in person where I actually got scammed, that's a different story. But okay. But ones that I guess worked out that were actually legit. So my good friend Luke, TCG Revival, he sent me, man, it's probably definitely one of the craziest ones that actually worked out. He sent me a photo of this first edition base set box. and man, this box did not look real. Like I would have guaranteed you that this box was fake. Like when I saw the photos of it,
Yeah.
even the wrap, it was just so, it just did not look right. But the guy said it was in his closet, you know, blah, blah, blah. Got it back in the day. He's an older guy. And like, I'm telling you, I was telling my friend, like, dude, you're just like, I'm sorry, but it's not like, it's not going to be legit. I'm going to go out there and it's going to be like a complete waste of time and I'm going to possibly get scammed. And he just kept telling me like, dude, like, I just got a feeling this is legit. And, you know, he's smart, really smart guy. Like he's been in the hobby way longer than me too. And he was telling me like, you got to do this. And I was like, all right. So I went out and I met up with the guy and he pulled out of his backpack and this box had, so you'd be the number one person to know about like the wrap that's used on older Japanese boxes. It has like that, it's like thicker and it makes like a really loud, like it's a lot not as soft as like the normal like wrap. And like when you
cellophane
like crinkles.
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah. And you like move it around. It makes like a really loud like sound.
Yeah.
That was the wrap that was on this first edition base box. And normally it's the normal, like whatever type of wrap that's softer. And I'm like, dude, like there's no way this isn't rewrapped. Like this isn't even the wrap that they used. I've never seen a box like this, any Wizard of the Coast box in my entire life. And it was so weird because I told this guy that the only way that I was going to pay him was if I opened this box up and it was legit. Now, this guy wasn't really a collector because he inherited the stuff or he was selling it for somebody. Yeah. And he had no idea about Pokemon either. And it was like very tense because he was fully trusting me that I'm going to open your first edition base box. You don't know who I am. Yeah. I don't know who you are. I'm going to open your box up for you. I'm going to like legitimately tell you if it's like a real product or a fake product or not. And you have to believe, like, you have to believe what I'm saying. And I just stuck my hand out. I was like, I'm a man of my word and I'm not going to screw you around. So that's the only thing I could tell you, man. Like, that's all I could do. And we just shook hands and pulled the box out, put it on the table. I'm like sweating bullets. I hit record on my camera. I'm like, my hand is like literally like this. I couldn't even hold it right. So I opened the box up and I took the wrap off. I popped the top and to me, it looked like there were real packs in there. I pulled all the packs out and they looked real. And I was like, kind of like in disbelief. And I still was like, okay, I'm going to open a pack up and just to make sure. So I opened the pack and I think I see like a Squirtle and it looks fine. It has the stamp and I go through and I pull a Chansey hollow and I'm just in complete disbelief. And I'm like, oh my God. And the guy's like making fun of me. He's like, why are you shaking like that? I'm like, you wouldn't understand.
You don't get it,
You just don't get it. You don't get it. Like, it's just like cartoons. I'm like, no, you just don't understand what's happening right now. And it was real. We drove to the bank and I had to, it wasn't over yet because we drove to the bank and I was going to wire him the money at the bank and I did the wire, but it didn't clear right away.
Yeah.
And the guy at the bank was like, oh, it could take like 4 hours. And I'm just like, okay. And he's like, you want to go get coffee? And I'm like, yeah, sure. That's fine. And he was like, I'm going to take the box. So picture like, he's like, you just follow me in your car. So picture this. He has the box. I sent the money already. The money's gone. Like the money's in wherever. It's like getting authorized.
It's like a GTA mission.
Bro, I'm like up his ass. I'm like, you are not getting away. Bro, I'm like this close to you. I don't care if I'm about to hit you. And I mean, he was legit. We went to Starbucks and it only took about half an hour. Money cleared. He handed me the box and I went on my way. And he had some first ed graded cards. So I bought my buddy, I actually bought him a PSA 9 first edition Shadowless Blastoise from the guy just as because he found this box and everything like that and I purchased it and it worked out. So I bought him, I gifted him the Blastoise and I think I bought a 9 Charizard. I might have bought like another graded card and that was it. It worked out. But I was like 99.9% sure that I was just wasting my time. And I guess you just never really know until you're actually there. And like you were saying earlier, like unless you just talk to somebody and in person, it's like completely different. And yeah. But I think, and then on another note, I just want to mention this because I remembered it. On another note, the biggest thing that I ever felt like I missed out on opportunity wise was somebody on eBay was listing sealed cases of first edition base set blister packs, like the actual, in the cardboard and everything. And the guy was like, it was just so confusing. Like he was posting, he would put like random pictures of cards in the listing. Like the title didn't make any sense. It was like and he had them up for like nothing. Like they were like $1,000. And I was just like, oh, this is a scam. Like get out of here. Yeah. And he had like 4 cases. And I think a couple people risked it, and he sent them sealed cases of first ed base blisters.
Man.
And like it was just so insane. Like it was another one of those things where I was like, there's no shot. Like, I'm sorry, it's fake. Like, this is not legit. But this isn't telling you people, anybody watching, to go and buy these listings for like, if you see a first edition base set box on eBay with like reused photos with a eBay seller that has like 0 feedback, or their account was hacked or whatever, that happens all the time. Like, it probably isn't real. Just so you know.
No, that's right.
Probably isn't real.
That's the beauty of that period. It was like a Wild West.
It was the Wild West, and it was like the needle in the haystack thing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, there's probably like 500 more stories of it all being not legit. So
exactly. Yeah. Oh man, that is funny. I wanted to ask you this, but I don't want to shame. I'm not trying to body shame you or anything. But when did you get your glow up? Because there's this picture floating around on Cool Trainer Ryan's channel. It's in his banner. It's a different person, man. What happened?
I don't know, dude. I thought I could grow my beard out and be like one of those lumberjack guys. Just like, yeah, dude. I don't know. I just when I started growing my beard out, I was like, all right, I'm gonna see how long I can grow my beard. But yeah. And then I didn't. I was like, yeah, maybe I should grow my hair out too. I would always just keep my head like buzzed, like as close as I could get it, and just like, I don't know. And then like actually Ryan talked me into growing my hair. He's like, you could grow your hair. And I was like, nah, I don't think I can. I have my hair, it's like from Sicily. So my hair's all like hard to manage, but I don't know. Something changed in my hair when I got older, bro. And like now I can grow hair. So I was like, all right, I'll grow my hair until it falls out at least. But your hair, bro, you have the best hair in the Pokemon card YouTuber universe. Marvel verse or whatever.
Calabrian curls, man. My parents are both from Calabria, so it's the Italian in me too, man. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you speak Italian?
No, I don't. But I have a lot of family that does. But I'll just stand there and be like,
yep. I'm the same, man. It's like it's my secret shame.
You speak Japanese, right? Or,
I know.
No, you don't speak Japanese.
No, I speak Japanese. It's silly. It's backwards. Yeah. My dad.
No, that's cool though.
Yeah, like it is. It's cool. I love it. But my dad, he's always like, when I started learning Japanese, he's like, why? Like, you gonna learn Italian anytime soon? I'm like, yeah. We're gonna go to Italy this year, and I feel dumb. I gotta get onto Duolingo and learn a little bit, because it's weird. You just stand there sometimes. You're like, oh yeah, you hear like 1 of 10 words that you kind of understand.
Yeah,
it's all body language.
It's awkward because you have to like kind of like act like like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, you can be.
Are you still having fun on YouTube? Because it at some point transitioned from hobby and passion into work, and sometimes when that happens, it sucks the love out of it. Are you still having a good time?
Yeah. It's funny that you asked that though, because there's definitely times where you kind of you fall into a little like lull, and you have to kind of pick yourself back out by just changing things up and getting more ideas. Like if I can't continue to think of these different like ideas for my videos, like if I were just to sit down and maybe just open like a base set, just Sun and Moon box, I'm just sitting here like just opening the box. There's no sort of like, I don't know what the purpose of it is, you know what I mean? Or I don't have like a chase card in mind or something.
Yeah.
Or sort of like an idea around it. That's when I probably would get bored and be like, all right, like, what are we actually doing here? So if I have like a goal in mind or an idea in mind or something that's kind of like spicing things up a little bit, like, dude, I will do like the wackiest stuff. Like I did like a video yesterday, was it? I think it was yesterday or one? 2 days ago. Yeah, like AI. Oh, you saw it?
Yeah. I watch, man.
Yeah, just like silly stuff like that. But it was funny to me. And like, I hope that if I'm having a good time, that like, you're probably the same way. It's like, you're streaming on Twitch and stuff. It's like, if you're having a good time, hopefully other people that are watching your stream and stuff are having a good time too. And I know it can get like ridiculous sometimes, but you know, it's still fun to me. So
Yeah. No, I mean,
yeah.
that's good because like you've brought a lot to the space in the last 2-3 years. Like a lot of other creators have flourished because of what you've done. You've revitalized and blown up the Pokemon card niche, but you've also spread this sense of community. And that word gets thrown around a lot. I'll want to talk a little bit about the multiple communities in the Pokemon card sphere. But I think you're well and truly keeping the love alive. I tune into your streams and you're one of the few streamers that can still read chat or will try really hard to read just like the normal chat, not just donos. And I think
bro. I try.
Yeah. You make a really strong effort to do it. Like I see you reading like loose chat messages. Do you wish you could do more like that though? Like, do you feel like it's reaching this point where you're just the guy on the screen and you're separating from the guy that's interacting? Because that's the part I love most.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, because like, you know, you see like big Twitch streamers and stuff. Not that I'm comparing myself to them or anything, but like, you know, their chat is so fast that it's like it refreshes and it's just like it's like boop, like all these chats, and then they're going boop, 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 boop.
It's a waterfall.
Like, yeah, like it does get at that point where I have to kind of just like focus on one chat and then read that one and then try to read that one. But then I also like I want to juggle the people that are sending, you know, like the super chats and stuff like that too, because I want to make sure I read those as well. And it definitely it gets to the point where it feels like, you know, like you get to the point where there's so many people where it almost does feel like you sort of like become like separated a little bit more from, I guess, the close knit part of the community. Because like you were getting to like with the community communities, there's like the super like hardcore collector community. I feel like that's where I started at, you know, watching all like the different videos of like the super, super high, like collectible, like knowing every little bit of information, like forums and all that stuff. And then you kind of like, if you want to, you know, get into the general like scope of like a whole community as a whole, you have to kind of back up and get that broader, you know, like, well, there's people that they just go to Walmart once in a while and buy like a couple packs of Pokemon cards. Don't care, don't even know what the set is, just want to have fun with open packs. There's people that do this, that, and there's so many, you know, people that play just the TCG, and they're building their decks and they're playing the game and all that. And there's just so much going on with Pokemon that there's just so many people in it. And I try to, you know, be as inclusive as we can with just having anybody that wants to come by, bro. Even if you don't even like Pokemon cards, you just come by and hang out and have fun. Like, at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think you got a lot of people that had that fleeting interest in Pokemon or that grew up with it like most people around the world did. And then they clicked on your stream and they're like, oh, this is still a thing. And this guy's very high energy. And because of that, so many people just came in and created this big community.
Yeah, because it's hard to juggle because like I try to keep things as broad as I can so it doesn't get too specific and too like niched in where people like, because I can go on and on like with like, oh, this like Neo Genesis whatever card from or you know was the first blah 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 printing of this card. It had the first issue unlimited print run. It did this that like they had print line like, you know, you can go super deep into it and like errors and all this crazy stuff. But then like it's hard because you want to just not get to like overwhelm people with stuff at the same time and just keep it fun. Because there's, you know, kids like there's kids that are just collecting and having fun and like not getting like super serious, like, oh, this card is like a blah blah blah. I don't know what I'm getting at, but just like trying to keep it fun and broad and
yeah. I guess if you hyper focus on a niche, you lose that broad appeal. And the beauty of Pokemon is finding new people, bringing them in, or finding people that used to dabble in it and then getting them back.
Yeah,
I mean, I think a lot of creators and a lot of collectors, people that are around it every day, say it's not really about the Pokemon cards anymore. It's about the connections and the friendships that you've made. So I totally get it. You want to have as many, it's like a big party. You want to have as many people come.
Yeah. And it's like an entry point. Like, okay, you find my channel, but you can go and watch like this person who specifically does like more niched in stuff with the vintage stuff, or you can watch this person who's doing modern like breaks 24/7, or this like it's kind of like the gateway to Pokemon cards, like the, you know what I mean? Like, and the more people that come in and then they find where their niche is, and whether it's like, you know, on the forums or here or there or whatever, like Instagram, you find your sort of like carve out your where you fit in, or where, you know, you feel like you're comfortable with Pokemon. So
I guess on that community subject, at the moment feels a little bit tribalistic at the moment. Like there's a lot of divisions or like sub communities in the Pokemon card space. It's a bit of a loaded word, tribalism, but it's real. Like you can see it kind of when you look at all those different channels and you're seeing people talk about all these different topics. What do you think causes that division?
I think it's just sort of, I don't know, maybe just the understanding of like what that person is in Pokemon cards for, in a way. Like there's so many different reasons, I guess, to be involved with the community. And then if somebody is collecting Pokemon cards for this reason, or this person is doing it for that reason, or they're building a business, or this person's a YouTuber, or this person's a binder collector, this person likes graded cards, this person likes whatever grading company card, or this person likes this company, and it's like, then it creates this whole big, like you said, and like, oh, this person uses this app to do their auctions. Like, I'm not naming anything. I'm just saying.
No.
I'm just keeping it broad, but
I know.
But yeah, I think that has to do with it, because then people will sort of say like, oh, they're like, why are you affiliating yourself with this or that and not in it for this? And then I think that's kind of where a lot of the problems arise. It's like, but I think of it as, I don't, you can be in Pokemon cards for, whatever reason you deem like as your reason to be in Pokemon cards. If you just like looking at the artworks, cool. If if you're buying and selling and trading and flipping and whatever, you wanted some extra income, cool, whatever. It doesn't bother me personally, but I know everybody has their opinions on it. So
yeah. I guess it's part of why I want to do. Yeah, it's part of why I wanted to catch up and speak with you, because it's really easy when you're online and you're not speaking to people face to face to make assumptions and conclusions based on people's actions, which, people's actions is usually a reflection of who they are. But I find a lot of the time when you actually sit down and have a chat with somebody, you find out that they're almost just like you. Like for the most part, really similar. A couple of days ago during one of my streams, we were watching SM Pratt's video that he put up, and we were having a bit of a laugh, and I was getting a bit into it because it gets a bit,
Was it the shrink wrap on the Japanese box?
Yeah, that was the one. Yeah.
Okay.
And he's delisted it since. So when I guess when you're so at ground level and you're seeing other collectors that are having the same struggles as you, and you're hearing their struggles all the time, eventually, it wears you down, and you feel like you're wearing that burden a little bit. So I was doing the stream, watching his video, and it didn't vibe with us, and I'm the streamer, so like people were kind of following my lead too. I was getting annoyed, so the chat was getting annoyed. Anyway, it kind of blew up a little bit, and Scott reached out to me because I left a comment on his video. It wasn't rude or anything, but he deleted it, and then his manager was like, "Hey, you got this comment." So Scott reached out. It's like, "Hey, I saw you put this comment. Like, what's good? Do you want to talk about it?" And so like we had a bit of a back and forth, and he was like, "Hey, like this is probably going to be easier if we just get on a call." And I was like, I was in myself, man. I was like, nah, I made my mind up. Like, I don't think we're going to get anything out of talking. And he was like, you never know. Like, it's worth it. I was like, all right, fine. I got a coffee, sit down and chat. And I had this 50-minute chat with him, and we got on the same page, like within, 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
And we leveled it out. Like, he took the video down. He understood where we were coming from. And I said, it's all good. Like, I apologize because I may have called him a few names here and there, but, he was cool with it. So, yeah, I think the tribalism and the division, it comes from people being so passionate. But it also stems from just a lack of communication most of the time. Like a lot of this stuff can just be hashed out. You've been called out by Opossum Bud. He it was harmless, but like he made a comment about, or he made a video about your promo pack for League stores. But you owned it, like, and I think that was the key. Like you commented and you're like, "Hey, my bad, dude."
Yeah.
Where did you learn? I guess that at what point did you get to? Because, and sorry, I'm probably talking your ear off here, but you get so big.
I like listening.
You get so big that sometimes your head's up in the clouds and you don't see what's happening. You're one of the rare creators that is able to just recognize that, hey, the community is speaking about something. I'll respond. Yeah. Where did you learn the importance of that?
Probably, and I guess it starts at the beginning. Like, where's your entry point? Is it just straight up? And this is this is just like a broad, like, I guess, opinion of mine, where it's like your entry into Pokemon cards. Was it like, did you just start watching a couple YouTube videos a week ago and you're like ready to go and you want to just start a YouTube channel and just start making content based off like a week of just kind of like being in the hobby versus like when I started, like I mentioned earlier, I started like, I feel like at like ground level learning the like everything that I could possibly learn about Pokemon cards and the TCG in a way where like I just feel like if I can kind of learn all these things and get like all these one-on-one interactions with all like the people that were really super in it early, and kind of like just kind of build up these relationships with people and then after a while I was like, you know what, I want to jump on, I want to try this out. Like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to do this, but I kind of got like an understanding of I guess like the hobby as a whole. And now when I'm doing things, I feel like I have that knowledge where it's like, like to me, I feel like, I shouldn't have grabbed those packs, even though, in my head, I'm thinking like when I was purchasing them, I'm like, you know what, like something's telling me like this to me, these cards feel like, they're meant to be as prize cards for people that are playing the TCG in their league and in their stores. And then they're being pushed onto eBay and not going to where they're intended to go to. There's a big difference between that and going to Target, going to Walmart and just buying something off the shelf, versus something like that. And, I filmed the video and I still was like, man, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I should just like trash this video because like it doesn't sit right with me. And, when, he made that video, my first thought was, yeah, dude, like, all right, yeah, I screwed up like 100%, like, and just own it. So yeah, that's kind of just what the way I felt about it was like, yeah, if I screw up, like, I'm just going to own it, like, and learn from my, like I've been doing, just learn as you go, bro. You screw up. Yeah. That's what happens. It's life. Just own up to it and try to be a better person tomorrow. So that's kind of how I went about it. I appreciate people that are, 100% upfront with everything, like you and Opossum and all these guys that are just like, bro, like straight shooters, like just get to the point, how you feel about things, and people respect that, bro. So yeah.
I mean, accountability. Thank you, by the way. Accountability is like I was gonna say it's a big part of YouTube, but I think it's just a big part of adulthood. Like at some point, you just got to own things. And I'm really glad that like you were able to just like reach down and say, hey, yeah, I screwed up. My bad, guys. I'll do better next time. So kudos to you, man.
Yeah, I think that's all you can do.
People often will blame creators and influencers in the Pokemon card and in the collecting space in general for fluctuations between prices of cards and product. So you know, you'll make a video talking about a great example is when you opened up Lost Origin. When you opened up Lost Origin, you couldn't find that Aerodactyl. I looked at that and I was like, hey, you just couldn't find it. That's English hit rates for you. But a lot of people, look at that and are like, oh, Rev, there he goes again, pumping the market. He's irresponsible, or he's making it hard for the rest of us. So how do you hit record knowing that something that you talk about might shift rapidly because of your video? You're going to hit 200, 300, 500,000 people. How do you hit record knowing that it's going to affect so many people in such an odd way?
I mean, it's kind of funny to me because I feel like I'm naive about it, or I was naive about it for so long. And I never actually even realized that was the case. Even up to like, obviously Lost Origin wasn't too long ago. So, but it wasn't on my mind. Like, it didn't even occur to me that card would do what it did until I woke up the next morning and I saw where I didn't even see it. People were telling me, and I didn't think anything of it. I went to bed and I was like, oh, we didn't get that card. That sucks, whatever. And like, maybe I'll try again.
Meanwhile, it's like chaos breaks out.
Yeah. And meanwhile, like TCG players buyouts are going on and I'm just sitting here like, man, like it didn't even occur to me that and it didn't occur to me for probably the first, honestly, like the first year of YouTube, I really didn't even consider that just talking about things like or certain cards showing on the channel would increase the prices of them. But I mean, the Lost Origin one specifically, I was definitely really shocked to see it. And then I kind of thought about it more, and going back to like sort of that broad sort of a viewership, right? Where there's people that might not understand that it's not actually the rarest card.
Yeah.
It's not the rarest card in the set, even though I'm losing my mind, like opening packs like nonstop, and I'm not pulling this card. It's not the rarest card in the set. It was the card that I just couldn't find for whatever reason. There was just not on my side, as we know.
Yeah.
But that tilted the market in a way where everybody rushed to buy that card because they saw it and I didn't pull it. So it's a weird thing. And like, I know there's definitely talks I read online sometimes of people like, oh, YouTubers might be taking like positions on cards and they do a video on it and then they're like selling off it and blah, blah, blah. But it's like again, like I don't even know if like I can't even think of a time where I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy all these cards and I'm gonna show it on channel and I'm gonna sell them. Like I'm gonna dump. I just like it. Don't care. Like I just don't care. To even do that. But I can see like the frustration from people where they're like, dude, like come on, man, like Rev, really, you just jacked up this card. Now I can't get like, and that definitely, I feel bad about that. And if it hits like it's like a normal play or something where they need it for their deck, or it's just like somebody that wants it for their binder, it definitely sucks. And I feel bad for them, and I wish there was something that I could do. And I did mention a couple of times after the stream, like it's not the rarest card, guys, but
you do.
At that point, it's what's done is already done.
Yeah.
And but that's the thing. No matter what I say, even if I said it during the stream, it wouldn't really matter. It would still be done deal. It would be a done deal. So it doesn't. That's at the point where I can't. There's not much I can do other than just kind of keep doing what I'm doing, and I guess that's kind of just the outcome of certain things.
It's the byproduct of the space. Like, I don't blame you for it. I think there are some, I'm not going to name names, but I think there are some creators that can take advantage of, I guess, gaps in the market. Like, because that's a big part of Pokemon card collecting is finding something that's cheap and then turning it for a profit to buy some other part of your collection. It's the nature of content creation. You're able to influence people. So there will be people that will influence people for personal reasons. But I think, I'm not just saying this because we're on call right now. Like, it's a little bit beyond you. I think there's bigger things going on in the poker cave than buying 50 Aerodactyl V special arts and then selling them on eBay. And wow, 2 times.
I just have the one that I pulled eventually, and that was it. Like I have the one that Ryan sent me.
Oh, did he send it to you?
He sent me. Yeah, he sent me it. I have that one, and I have my one. That's it. That's all I got. So
Japanese Pokemon cards are becoming very, very popular. The last 2-3 months, they've seen a massive surge in popularity. Sets like V-Star Universe came out, so it's like only natural, but it's becoming very pricey. Yeah. Like, it's really difficult for Japanese Pokemon card collectors to continue collecting while staying financially responsible. I don't know, like some people are blaming big influencers and content creators because they're getting into it now. I think that's kind of detrimental to the hobby counterproductive, because a lot of the space is about connecting with people, finding new things to collect, and sharing that with others. Do you have like a genuine interest and passion in Japanese Pokemon cards, or are you just doing it now because it's hot?
So I would say, okay, it's definitely your fault that the Japanese cards are hiked up so much.
People have said that to me, and I've got a part to play in it. But I do have a part to play in it. I don't deny that.
Yeah, it's like every little piece of content that goes out, and it builds up, and people see it. But yeah, so with Japanese cards, I personally prefer to collect English. Like that's just me. Like I prefer the English cards. I don't speak Japanese or read Japanese, so I can't. For me, it doesn't connect as well on that level. I guess that's probably like my main reason is I just like to be able to read the cards. Like that's just pretty much it for me. And I prefer the English backs, but whatever, that to the side as personal preference. With the content creation, obviously like Shiny Star V is just like those types of sets, right? Where you're opening them up and VMAX Climax, they're fun, man. They're like really fun to open up, man. Like, and it's just, the search for like a god pack and all that stuff is just thrilling. We don't have that in English, so I like that experience from the cards. But if you place the same card next to me in Japanese and the same one in English, I would personally prefer the English version. For the content side of things, Japanese cards, obviously, as we know, they'll come out early before English, and people want to see the newest cards. And that's if we're opening Scarlet, Violet boxes, those are the artworks, and we open up those boxes. It's interesting because I feel like more people are tuning in. I feel like to the Japanese card openings. Like I really feel like more people have been watching them and getting more interested in them. Mm-hmm. Whether that's converting to, I'd assume it would convert, like whatever percentage would convert over to people purchasing those products, and then that would ultimately, I would assume, increase prices because of demand being increased. So It makes sense. I am not an expert by any means in Japanese card prices, dude. Like, I look at like some of these cards, and I'm just like, why? Like, I get the waifu thing, but I don't get it, because why is this waifu card like $800 or $600? I don't get it. Like, do you know like what's happening with that? Like, I don't understand.
It's a multifaceted issue or like topic to discuss. So like the first one that a lot of people go for is because they're cute girls, and some people make the claim that Japan likes to fetishize, that era, like that high school or late high school, like university era of anime characters, which I think is an element. It's not the driving factor. I think people say a lot of the time that's really creepy, like waifu cards are creepy, and I get why people say it, but I don't think it's the main reason why they're so expensive is because they're cute girls. It's one part of it. One big aspect that I think gets lost and is people don't really talk about is the artists behind those particular cards. A lot of the artists that draw full art supporter cards are like big freelance artists in Japan. So the art community on Japanese Twitter and Japanese YouTube is like massive, and a lot of those artists have their own YouTube channels, and they have their massive Twitter accounts where they're teaching people their styles or showing them approaches to illustrating. So one of the really big ones is Naoki Saito, who's drawn like massive amount of full art supporter cards that are often girls, like the Marnie from Shiny Star V, and I'm pretty sure he drew the Candace recently as well. So like people want to get Naoki Saito cards because like they want to have their favorite artist cards in their binder, and he's like a 1 million plus, I think, YouTube account. Like he's huge. So that's one huge element, it's a massive part of it. Kurosaki, she's a phenomenal artist. Again, it's the same thing. She drew that Shield Marnie, and Marnie's like a popular character from Sword Shield. So everybody wants that Marnie. It's like Kurosaki's Marnie. It's not so much that it's Marnie, it's Kurosaki's Marnie. So it's this added layer. It's another element of it. I guess the exclusivity of them as well. Like a lot of the time they're really playable. So people want to put them in their decks and bling them out. They've got better texturing than the English counterparts too. So you got like 4 things at least there that just like amplify, and then you just throw international interest, and it's a perfect storm. So that's pretty much where it comes from. We actually had a good laugh when I think you opened GX Tag Team All Stars, and you found the best card from the set, and you were like, the full art trainer. It was Sightseer.
GX, the water energy. Oh my god! And out of nowhere in the reverse slot, the full art trainer. What?
Yeah,
it's a meme in our server, dude. Like, sorry, man, but like we were clown. But you graded it, and you got the 10. I'm pretty sure you sent me a pic of it.
Yeah, it came back at 10, and like that was like, I think that was probably the beginning when I started understanding like, okay, the waifu type cards right now in the Japanese sets are just like ridiculous. Like it just didn't make sense to me. But yeah, I opened Scarlet and Violet.
I'm pretty sure you found Miriam, and we're all like, how does he keep getting away with it?
It wasn't the Galarian Gallery one or whatever, but it wasn't
the super art rare. It was like the normal full art trainer.
Yeah, the normal full art secret rare. And I pulled that one like first box again, and I don't know why I keep doing that. And it's like it's just like but then I saw, and I assumed, I was like, okay, this is probably like I'm gonna guess this is probably like one of the biggest cards in the set. And I like when I'm filming, I'll look up to just like see what's happening with some of the stuff, and then I checked it and I was like, okay, that's just, I was like, of course. Like, why did I know? But okay, that's cool, that makes sense, man. Like I can see that. And then the international interests, obviously, like, so with the Japanese products, I have no idea what sort of, I guess, how how much they're printing of like Japanese stuff versus English, I would assume it's a decent like a good amount less than English product. I don't know.
There's definitely bigger interest, but at the end of the day, Japan serves Japan. So like the amount they print is going to be to satisfy their market. Japan's printing facilities also service, I'm pretty sure, mainland China, as well as the Taiwanese and Hong Kong version. I get really, this is the hardest part about
quality
Pokemon,
looks like
everything. Yeah. That's why it's got the same like level of
really
texture.
Good.
Yeah.
And
I think I'm going to say Indonesian. There's a creator, Crystal Collects, who knows all about multi-language Pokemon cards. So if you ever want to check her out to learn more, her channel will cover basically everything. It's really difficult to remember like every piece of info. Japan's factory prints for like a lot of the Asia region. So they're in a way like they're limited with how much they can produce. I made a video actually, it's up on the channel this morning, and I was talking a little bit about how a lot of supply is kind of getting backdoored out of Japan. Like LGSs aren't seeing what they really should, and it's getting sent internationally. It's kind of like what was happening with sneakers. I don't know how into the sneaker space you were, but like popular drops of like Nikes and Yeezys back then wouldn't go to stores. They just get backdoored and then end up on like StockX. So it's a big issue at the moment. Like the supply is there, like they're printing more than they've ever printed compared to like 2021, where there was shortages because there wasn't enough print, but because it's not actually going to stores, like it's just not getting into collectors' hands the way that it ordinarily would. So then like you get videos like yours where like you're opening them up and then people are like, oh my God, like Rev opened up Scarlet Violet. Like this is just going to make things worse. Again, it's just it's funny. It's a byproduct, and like, I don't blame you for it because it is part of the YouTube game, but it's funny because you said like you found Miriam, which is like a massive card, and you were like, I think it's popular. It just circles back to that affinity and like connection with what you find. Like if you're not feeling it, like it's hard for you to really care, even if it's worth like, you know, $400 or $500. It's just not the same.
Yeah, that's what I said in the video too. I was like, this is cool, but I'd rather pull the secret rare Gyarados or the secret rare Arcanine. That's probably like a $30 card. I'd rather have that card. Like I think it's
real, man. That's real. That is like for you.
Personal preference.
I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this because it's a really touchy subject. It's a bit of an unspoken topic. Do you know what Gamba is? Have you heard the term Gamba thrown around online? You don't know what the Gamba is? Just take a guess.
I honestly have no idea.
Gamba is like gambling, basically. It's like it's the G word. Okay. We kind of like try to steer away from it because I think anyway with Pokemon cards, it's only a win or lose if you let it be a win or lose. Yeah. Like at the end of the day, it's just another product. So, you know, if you open up a pack of cards and you're so hung up on finding a chase card and you don't find it and you feel hard done by, I think you're only feeling that because you let yourself get played like that. You can open up a pack of cards and find playable cards for a deck or, you know, beautiful illustrations. It doesn't always have to be the best card.
It doesn't always have to be about the value of the card, right?
That's like right. But there is like this win or lose element sometimes. So another part of Pokemon card collecting that not a lot of people really see is like mystery packs. You buy a product that you don't really like know what's inside of it. You have a general idea, but it's kind of like a lucky dip. Now, I think it's a bit of a lame gotcha to be like pack opening and mystery packs is equated to gambling, but there definitely is like this element of chance. So how do you manage that? Because I know there's the PokeRev mystery packs out there. They're super popular. How do you keep them as like a popular product that people buy and they don't feel hard done by compared to others out in there in the market?
So I guess my goal with the PokeRev packs was I want to make the best product that I can, and the only way I can do that is by seeing like what would I like what would I like, and then would the broader like collector like something like this. So one of like the main things for me was, okay, I have to try to have it as cheap. They're not like cheap, but like as cheap as I can price wise as I can, while having sort of like these like something that you could pull that would be really, really kind of crazy to pull, like a base set pack or something like that. But if that risk is like on the lower end, like if you're buying like a $50 PokeRev pack or versus like a $200 mystery pack, you like on a lot of those bigger $200 ones or however much they are, I don't know how much they are.
Yeah.
There's instances where like you can lose like 75 like to 80% or more of that versus on this one where when you're coming into sort of like the ones that we have where you know, like worst case, it's like 50%, I feel like, of like a loss, right? On like what you paid on it. But the potential could be like a, you know, packs that are $500, $600, $700 or whatever on the top tier. And then like to kind of level it. So it's like, oh, well, you can have like the next step up would be like a pack that's worth like X amount from Sun and Moon X and Y. A pack up from that would be like black and white, etc. So I just posted on my story a couple hours ago where I was showing all the booster boxes. And for me, it's like whether you think like, oh, this is cool, or whether you think like, oh, I don't like these odds, I just want to be 100% transparent up front with it. Like this is X, you have a chance at whatever 1 in 5 chance for this. That is the chance that you're going to pull that. Nothing like that is it. That is baked into the product. Yeah. And what I like to do for all my packs is everything from booster boxes. So whatever base set, a sealed base set box goes in, a first ed fossil, first ed rocket, etc. Making it so that everything is 100%, you know, authentic, legit, upfront, transparent, and that's kind of like all I can do, right? Like, and if people like it, cool. If you don't like it, then it's not for you. Then, you know, it's not for you, which I completely understand. Trust me. Like, but with like mystery products, it was like going back again. So when I like first started getting into it, I never would buy a mystery pack. Like, it's not something that I would personally was doing like when I was collecting.
You've got a video on your channel actually where you showed people like, you know, top 10 scams. It's from like 3 or 4 years ago, and you go, these mystery packs here, like they're sus.
Don't buy these ones. Yeah, they're bad. Just don't buy them, period. And so I was like, okay, if I can create something that I'm like happy with, that is where people will turn to instead of getting ones that are like straight up scams, like that we know like are actually scams, where they're showing first edition base set Charizards on the front and like all this stuff that were never ever put in. And if they were put in, they put maybe one in out of like 500,000 of them, just so they could put it on there, which probably didn't even do that. But we know it by opening up, like where I test them, I'll buy 20, 30 of them and we'll see like, this is what you're getting on them. And I'll do it. I've done them multiple times on the same products, but so something where like we could have a legitimate 100% upfront transparent product that people, if they so choose to have something like that, I'm happy with it. I'm proud of it. I check every, like I handle every little thing. Like, so if there's Wizard of the Coast boxes going in, there's like 7 boxes on this run that's dropping this month. Like I physically like source them, and I know that they're like, I open the box up, I know that it's good to go and nobody's getting any kind of scams, all packs going, all that stuff. So for me, that's kind of like with that. But yeah, it does bring into that, I guess, that whole like gambling aspect of things, right? Where like we see people on YouTube like opening a pack up, and then like obviously like we have like, you know, the price pops up on the screen and stuff like that. And that was a big thing like when we you know 5 years ago or whatever, or not 5 years ago, like 3 years ago, when that was getting bigger and more people were coming in and more people were doing content and we're following that sort of style of like the price pop up. But for me personally, I don't care as much about it, but I know that it connects with certain people. Like certain people don't care about it and certain people want to see that, because there's, at the end of the day, some people just want to see what the card, like how much the card is worth, and whether we're putting like a raw price or a PSA 9 or PSA 10 price on the screen, like it does like get that mentality of like, okay, I'm gonna open this pack and see if we can pull like the $500 card. So yeah, I know there's so many different opinions on that, but yeah, I don't know what your opinion is on it either, but it's just something like content wise that you don't have to do it, but it's just like, it just makes things like, it definitely makes things more exciting, because if somebody's like, oh, watching the vid and they see you pull like a card that's $500, it's like, oh my God, like that's crazy, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, like we'll do raw prices a lot on modern cards. We'll also do PSA 10 prices for old stuff. Like it's hard because with like, say you pull a I don't know, like a friggin' shining Gyarados, like, and then you go to near mint pricing. It's weird because like there's that near mint, which like TCG players like, all right, near mint, and you get like you buy it and it looks like a 6 or a 7, and you're just like, all right, like or an 8 or something. And it's just so like, it's hard with the older stuff, I feel like. So it's weird. It's weird to price those cards out like when you're pulling them from pack, because like nobody's really that's not like a common thing of somebody like pulling
Yeah.
like these Wizards of the Coast cards out and trying to like price them and then looking on the market. So it's like a weird thing. I don't even know if I'm like rambling. I'm probably rambling about. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
No, it's interesting. I mean, like, it's something that people want to hear about. My take on it is that, like, there's the issue with like loot boxes and video games that was like prevalent through the mid 2010s, which feels so weird to say, but like games like CS:GO and like FIFA Ultimate Teams, like loot boxes and packs in those virtual games was like a big problem because it was mostly kids that are like playing it, so they're getting like their first taste of random chance and gambling in a sense. So
yeah,
like for me, it's bad for any kids that are watching. That's going to sound like, please think of the children. But like there are kids that are just getting into Pokemon for the first time through YouTube and content, stuff like TikTok as well. Like, did we make profit or like rip it, or I can't even remember. I don't watch them because they annoy me. But like you've seen the vids pop up. So I think it's bad when like a new fan's interaction with it is like purely price driven. I think maybe more can be done to like separate that, but I know it's really difficult because it's why a lot of people collect, because people collect for all different reasons, and for a lot of people it is really just about finding something that's valuable and having a price next to it. And I know I don't want to talk about the people involved, but you got like drawn into a editing price controversy recently, where like I think something that you'd open just had like an inaccurate price. But like you just said, it's so like in the moment it's hard to tell, and I think sometimes things get lost in editing, but it's just so
that was
one
more
way or
of
the
like
other.
An editing error. It was just like
it
was meant to be the PSA 10 price when all the cards in that video showed PSA 10 under it, but it wasn't. It was just that text wasn't edited in. Yeah. But you know, it was something. It was interesting, and I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, it's like what, you know, like what's is there an answer? Is there a solution to like, you know, going about it? Because it's hard, right? It's like people, you know, they get into Pokemon and then they're watching YouTube videos and they see a card come up and then they see the price pop up. And realistically, if Pokemon cards didn't have, some of these cards have these like crazy values, we know that the market would be so much smaller. It's just, it's just how it is. Like whether people say like they're just in it for purely collecting, you know, like there's so many people that are not. Like it's just how it is, right? Like there's so many people that would just drop, like they would just be gone, like ghosted, like out of there.
No, it's true.
So it's interesting to think about, right? It's like, well, if all these cards were only, just say every card you ever pulled, the max value was $1, like $1 was it. You know how much smaller the market would be? Like, you know, how less people there would be.
No one would care.
Be crazy. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know. You know, but and then you know, you see it on the other side of things where it's like a kid could, you know, they could open a pack of cards and they could pull a $400 card and they go sell it and use that $400 to, I don't know, go and buy what they need. And I don't know. But you know, but then you have to be careful. It's like, okay, like, and then you're going to go buy like 100 more packs and try to like
repeat the process.
Yeah. But it's interesting, like the whole gambling aspect of it. And yeah, I know Pokemon or Nintendo, I guess they were, you know, in a lawsuit at one point back in the day where they were trying to say that the cards were considered gambling for kids and blah, blah, blah. And they won the lawsuit, I think, just because they said that, well, the market's putting this price on these cards. We say these cards are worth 1 cent. Like they're worth 1 cent each. So they didn't have a case, but it is interesting. It's interesting to talk about though. You kind of wonder like what kind of effect, I guess, it would have on somebody, especially as, you know, they get older. And I honest to God, like I think about that too, like even with my kids, and we're like opening cards up and like, you know, they watch the videos and stuff sometimes. And it's like my son Leo will pull a card and be like, oh, this is like $1,000. Like, yeah, it's not $1,000, but yeah, you think about it, man. And it's like the you know, kids, and they're the future of everything, the hobby and everything, man. And it's like, you just, I don't know. You gotta be careful about it and hope that, you know, at the end of the day, you hope that you're just having fun and entertaining and not, I guess, creating any kind of like gambling, situation where, people end up going casinos and stuff like that. So I don't know.
That's a big stretch, but there might be a couple of people out there that go that far.
Like, I collect Pokemon cards. Now I'm going to the casino, baby.
I'm going to Vegas now.
I mean, I'll tell you personally, I don't go to the casino. If I ever go, it's like if I'm in like Vegas for like some event and I just go with people just to go. But like, I'm not like going to the casinos and stuff like, hey, let's go.
I hate it, man. I hate it.
If I ever played anything like Jack, but that's it. Like, and purely like you ever go, it's like you just put it out like this is all gone. Like I just picture like it's gone. Like whatever I put on the table, just picture it as it already being gone.
Do you think that PokeRev can like fix that? Like you got a big channel, you got a lot of influence. Do you think it's something, one, that you can fix, and two, do you think that it's like your responsibility?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely thought about it a lot, and it's something where, yeah, I've watched my videos. Sometimes I don't really watch my own videos because I have to watch to proof them, but like you watch it and you see like the stuff flashing up on the screen, all that, and like I just go back to, okay, I want to have fun, but I want people to also be having fun at the same time, and like whether they're I don't know if you're laughing or laughing at me or whatever you're doing, but whatever, as long as you're having fun, I don't care. I just want like people to just enjoy the content, and like I don't know what the answer is, or like what the solution to that really is. At the end of the day, it's tough because like on a content part of things, it's hard not to do that because a lot of people want to know like the broader like sort of like market, even people niched in and stuff. It's like there's so many people that do want to see that, but then there's also people that are against it, and which I get. Like I get it. Like I'm not just like this like big YouTube guy that's just like sitting here like like I get it. Like I understand. Like yeah, it's like a price pops up, you're like, dude, like come on, like why you gotta put this price up here? Why are you putting this PSA 10 price? Like I get it. I get it, but I don't know. Like I honestly don't know what the answer is like to that. And it's not just me. Like it's just so out there now.
It's not just you. No. And I want to make that clear.
There. Yeah. There's so many, whether it's whatever this auction, like live auction video thing, platforms and stuff, where it's just so it's too far gone. It's too far gone. And it was happening either way with how everything's gone the last 3 years. And it's not just Pokemon cards, right? We know that.
It's everything.
It's literally every kind of, it's everything. Yeah. It's everything. We're just in this sort of like interesting niche that just sort of blew up and just kept going and going. Like,
yeah. Dude, these posters behind me, these are just posters that were marketing material for stores in Japan when those sets came out. So you got Legends and then an XY set here. That one's drawn by Mitsuhiro Arata. That one's drawn by Ryota Murayama. So they're both Pokemon card artists, Arata. Yeah. But even them, that one cost me, it was like $110. It's a poster hanging in a store 10 years ago. And that one was like $50. Like everything. Posters are a market now. That's it. Like it's literally everything has value to it.
Everything. So it's just too far gone, man. It's like, I don't know. I don't know if there is really an answer anymore. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Pokemon like boomed massively, as most people know, in like that 2020, 2021 period. And then a lot of people thought last year that it was going to cool off, myself included. But it is like still as popular as ever, probably more so in a weird kind of way. Do you see like that popularity maintaining over the next year? Or like when do you think that next real boom, that next surge is going to happen, if at all?
Yeah, I think the last time I had answered this probably was like a year or two ago. And it's an interesting question, right? Because you had the 2016 Pokemon Go, that just kind of drove so many people in. But it was funny if you look back at it compared to like the 2020 boom. It looks like a little like, like I'll look on Google Trends and stuff and just kind of see. But at the time in 2016, like I was looking at the trends, like, oh my god, like this is insane. But then you look at 2020, it's like,
yeah, it's
2016's down there. And I remember everybody was freaking out in 2016. They were like, oh my god, base set boxes are $1,000. Like this is insane. Like it's so ridiculous. And whatever they were at the time, $900, $1,000 as they were creeping up, and everybody was like, "Oh, this is it, man. This peaked. Like, I'm out of here." Like,
Yeah.
But you look back and it's just so crazy to think. So what does it take to, I guess, either keep Pokemon going how it is? I think just leveled off where it's at now, I think is sustainable. I mean, how everything is at the moment. There's still so many more people coming into the hobby. It seems to me like at least sustainable, and then what happens from there, I guess is anybody's guess. We've had like all the big boom moments of like 2020 and 2021 and everything that happened, but we're still seeing the effects of all that, because there's still, whether it's like a big influencer coming into it and like those, they're still happening, but they're not seen as like these huge events anymore. It's just like normal now.
Yeah.
And I think we've gotten so used to it that I don't know, like, what would it take, right? Like to have like another boom, like a boom. I don't know.
Define boom. Define it. Yeah. It's hard.
Like, we're booming now and we've been like still moving. Obviously we like came down if you're talking price wise and stuff. But the thing is, there's still so many people getting into Pokemon. It's just like, it's, you sit back and you're just like, how there's this many people still like getting into, like, it just seems like an endless amount of people getting into it. But yeah, I don't know. What would it take? It's a good question.
No one knows the answer.
With Scarlet and Violet. Yeah, nobody knows the answer. Whether somebody tells you what's going to happen is like, nobody knows.
I guess getting so big, one thing that I've seen happen to a lot of creators over the years is like their channel blows up. They get super, super popular. You hit 1-2 million subscribers, and then they kind of like fall off a little bit because they rest on their laurels in a sense, or it gets a little bit too familiar for the audience. So I don't want to see that happen to you. It's a risk. It's something that could happen if people lose interest in Pokemon. How do you see yourself like pushing the envelope over the next few years? There's Pat Flynn, the creator of Deep Pocket Monster. Is doing amazing things at the moment. Do you have like plans like that in line for the future?
So with Pat, it's funny because I've been following him for like over a decade now, and like I've gone through my old emails and I've seen, like, I've been on his newsletter for like at least 10 years. So when I saw him, it was interesting. Like when I saw him getting into the hobby and stuff, I thought it was cool. Like, oh, I know this dude, and I already knew he was a good guy. But he's doing really good things, man. He's like he's crushing it, and he's pushing the envelope, and he's creating videos that are so, like, it's just so, I don't know what the word is, but not mainstream, but like so such a broad scope of relatable, and it just, you have to watch through these videos. And what he's doing is it's not just like your typical Pokemon collectors. It's probably, you're hitting anyone. Like, I could see anybody watching his videos, honestly. I could see anybody watching his videos, and you're creating it where it's not just, I think the really the way to keep going is, like I mentioned a couple times in this podcast, like the broad like scope of what you're doing. It's not, you can't think of it's just Pokemon cards. There's so many different other things that are happening, these interactions with people, these genuine friendships, and like what you were saying, the friends and people you meet along the way, and like how you go about things, and it's more than Pokemon cards. And if you think of it that way, I think you're going to be okay. So what he's doing, I mean, dude, he's crushing it. And so for I guess for me personally, I guess I have a 5-year plan. I don't know how many years out it is, but I do have a sort of like a stuff that I want to do to kind of continue to push the envelope. Like I have plans to hopefully like build like sort of like this complex where it's just this massive hub where there's studios in there, and we can have other creators come through and collab, and even other creators that could even come through and build their own followings through like the PokeCave type thing, and like all this stuff that can happen, building up these different teams and stuff in like this sort of complex sort of like building. And that's kind of what I want to push for. And it's easier said than done. It's easier. Like I have like these big ideas, and it's like, because I definitely get inspired by different people, and like everybody knows Mr. Beast. Like he's definitely somebody that's super inspiring on many different levels. But like just something where you can push the boundaries and have this huge sort of like warehouse setting where you can do like these big videos, like hide a base set box somewhere and have like 100 people try to like find packs and try to find the box, like, you know, and win the like just big like type things that involve people, and people can be a part of it. And yeah, that's sort of like what I want to push towards. And it's just like getting those first steps to make that sort of like big move is kind of it. It's, you don't know where to start, but yeah, I have a solid team right now of people that they're like, I'm not just me sitting here and making this happen. There's multiple people that like, that make it happen at this point. But yeah, I'm hoping to keep entertaining people, and hopefully a year from now I'll still be doing my thing, and I won't be just
I don't think
washed up.
No. I don't think you'll fall off. I think you've got like great plans in mind. Like it's exciting, and seeing people push the envelope on YouTube with their niche, because like a lot of YouTube is like finding a niche and owning it. I think the next step from there is like, how do I get this niche into more people's faces? That sounds like, it sounds wild. So definitely excited to see that happen someday.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And yeah, it's just staying true to your beliefs and your core, like what you're doing, and just not like, that's the last thing I want to do is like just completely like change like how I am and what I'm doing, and like, yeah, like your morals and stuff, dude. Like you don't want to just get so big that you just forget like what's important. So
and forget where you kind of came from. I respect it. If you had to start your collection over from scratch today, would you do it the exact same way you did it now?
No shot.
No?
No, because, well, it'd just be so difficult. Like the way I was doing things back then versus now, it's just so many things are different now. I feel like and people ask like, where do they start now? And there are people that have probably a way better idea than I would even have of how you would start out now, depending on your goals. But my plan when I got in was, I want to relive my childhood, and I will do whatever I need to do that. And that was buying the old boxes, the jungle box, and for whatever they were, so like they were just so much cheaper. Like I literally buy a fossil first ed box for $500, crack it open, and get what I wanted. And then if I didn't get what I wanted, you could just get another box. Yeah, and it was like, it was such a different time, and that was how I was going about building the collection and building like the stuff that I had for trade and selling and stuff like that. And I don't even know how you would start now. I guess like it's weird, man. Like opening packs is just not. It's not a good idea. Like, I mean, most of the time, like you can hit something that you need, but it's hard. Like depending on what your goals are, right? Like there's so many different goals you could have. Like you said, building a deck or, you know, building a binder and stuff. But yeah, to start now, like would I have what's my budget? Do I get like a budget or anything?
Let's give you, I feel like 2000's fair. Like 2000. You can do something with that. Yeah.
Like $2,000. It's like, where would I start? I don't know. I love sealed products. So I'd probably try to grab some like maybe Sword and Shield, maybe like an Evolving Skies box, maybe a Brilliant Stars box. Yeah. Anybody watching, you should probably have a Brilliant Stars box. Like if you like that set anyway, because I feel like that is like Evolving Skies 2.0. Brilliant Stars, good set for me. I'd probably stick to like some booster boxes from Sword and Shield. Outside of that, maybe grab like a couple Grail cards that I would enjoy. I don't know specifically what I would pick up.
That Brilliant Stars soundbite is that's dangerous, man. Like,
yeah.
Do I publish that, or like what do I do with it? I cut that out. That's gonna set the market on fire, man.
Yeah, bro. That's true, actually. See, I don't even think when I say stuff. Everybody's gonna say Brilliant Stars boxes blew up. See, like when I say something, I just think of it as like common knowledge. Like I'm just like, okay, like I'm sure people probably know this, but then I think about it after it happens, and I'm just like, oh, I guess not.
I feel exactly the same way. Like
it's weird.
You mentioned a little bit before when I said like, do you feel responsible for what's happening with Japanese Pokemon cards? And you were like, hey bro, here's the mirror. Yeah, like I say things that I just think are like common knowledge if you've watched like maybe 2 or 3 months worth of videos, and then people will say like, oh, I pumped a card or whatever. Like, yeah, I don't give that. I don't say like, go buy X, go buy Y, but like I'd be lying if I'm not like, hey, you know, I know you guys are out there are watching, like, hey, this card, I'm really liking this card right now. Like it just feels like a no-brainer.
Yeah. And people think like, oh, like, oh yes, like the YouTubers have these big, like massive plans of like doing stuff. Like, bro, like, no, like I'm just fucking like opening cards and just like, I don't know. Family, like, I don't even think about it. Yeah. Like I have way more important like things that I care about more than like buying like loose cards of like something or boxes of something and then just like playing like a game of like pumping something. Like I literally could care less. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And you're the same way, bro. Like that's I mean that's why I like you. Like I don't know. I found your videos when you did I think like when I saw because it came up like PokeRev and it was like when I was doing the Lost Origin thing. Yeah. I think I started. That's when I saw that, and then I started watching more of your videos. And like, oh, this dude's he's just enjoying the hobby. And he's just being himself and saying whatever is on his mind and just being true to himself. And like, dude, I envy that a lot because like in the position that I'm in, there are definitely things that I would like to say more, but I have to like be a little bit more like, I guess like I don't know what the right word is, but like I have such like a broader audience of people that it's like it's a little different.
You got to be a little bit more curated. I get it.
Yeah. And just just kind of like more obviously like family friendly is like one of the things, right? So I stay on that like that level, and
I've been taking the piss out of you for a couple of years now. There's a couple of skits there up on the channel where I did my best poker. I'm surprised you haven't seen them. There was one actually that we did.
I was gonna bring it up, but I was waiting for the right moment. But the best one was the giveaway one.
Yes,
the giveaway one. Yeah, bro, I was dying.
Master Chief's helmet, holy crap! $1,000, $2,000, $10,000, $20,000.
I was dying, and that's the thing, dude. I just think it's funny. Like I actually think like. I don't care. I think it's hilarious. And you know what I mean? Like, and I know it's like all in good fun and everything. And even if somebody does something and they actually do like hate me or something, it's like, it is what it is, bro. Not everybody's gonna, like you. So, and it's the same way with how you do your content too. It's the same thing.
It's not personal. And I appreciate that you can laugh at it. Cause
like I said, a joke, trust me.
Yeah.
I'm friends with Ryan, bro. I can take a joke.
I know. I figured.
And like off the channel, literally it just doesn't. Me and Ryan are like extremely similar, which is the funny part that people don't really know. But
I've watched his vids. Like, I know you guys are like super super tight, and it's cool that like you've got that friendship offline and online. Like you can share that with people. I think that's like a big part of it. Like what makes it so like appealing is that like these dudes are online, they're creating videos, they're being entertaining, but offline they're just the same. Like they're just as similar as they are online. It's authentic.
Yeah. Like I just like I try to stay true to myself, but it's just like a more like PG-13. I don't know what that rating would be, but like just a more like toned down version of yourself that you just is family friendly. Like it doesn't. I don't care people curse and stuff like that. And it doesn't like I don't like to put that out there and a family not be able to watch my content because they have like kids that are younger and stuff and I want to respect that. So that's why I like it, because families, like people tell me all the time, like families will come and watch the channel and stuff, and like I would never want to change that to where like they can't do that, and which is cool. Like I don't like then you have other people that will do the opposite, and that's cool. They're catering to their their audience, which loves the stuff. Like I love watching that stuff. I don't care. Like it's cool to me.
Like my niece, my niece has got into Pokemon because of my channel. Since then, it's something I've just become like way more conscious of, because she's young. I know she's watching. She's showing her friends. So I'm like, oh, well, I don't want like the representation of me to be like this angry dude that's always swearing. And yeah, like there was a league night last week where I was playing Pokemon at one of our local places, and I got paired up against this young kid. And I think like right before like I sat down on the table to play him, I was talking to one of my buddies. I was like, oh, this deck and this and that, and like I was just swearing because I'm pretty loose. And then I sit down to my opponent, and it's this kid, and he's like a fan of the channel, which is something that's still like super weird to me when I see it in the wild. And he's like, oh, like wow, like I'm playing against okJLUV, and I was like, oh, hey man, like, and it really like it brings you back down to earth, like. Okay, I'm not just talking to like people my age or a little bit younger. Like I've got fans that are kids, so like I gotta like tone it down a little bit. So I totally get why you do things the way that you do, and I respect it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, but yeah, it definitely bring you down for sure. Like to like real life, because talking in front of a camera is one thing, but actually interacting with somebody that watches your content is it's mind blowing.
Do you get it often in the street?
Not as often as you might think, like, but I don't really go out much. I'm like, dude, I'm just recording and then I'm not recording, I'm like with the family and like, I would say like, I don't know, if I go through like Target or Walmart, especially if I go to the card section, like I'll run into somebody, but yeah, it's cool though. And I love like if I run into somebody, I'm always like, oh, get something. Like I grab something off the shelf and I'm buying it for you. I don't care what you say. Like,
that's cool.
Because like we do the giveaways and stuff, but to actually be able to do one in person to somebody's like, that's on another level for me. Like I just love seeing the like how people like their faces like just light up and they're like, what? Yes.
That is so
no
cool.
choice.
It's happening. Yeah. There was one night I rocked up to a store and I was lined up and I was like, whatever, waiting to pay. And someone that was like already there was like, okJLUV? And I was like, huh? And I just come back from Brisbane and the group I went up with were trolling me on the plane. So they were like, we're all on the plane in different spots, like 6 of us. And they're like, they're like yelling down the plane, like, is that the YouTuber okJLUV? And I'm like, oh my God. And there's like 6 guys doing it. And I'm like shrinking in my seat, like, shut up. Please shut up. And so like the next week, this dude is like, is that okJLUV? And I was like, yeah. He's like, oh my God, can I get a photo? And I was like, are you trolling? I was like, straight up, I'm like, are you with me, man? He's like, no, like I'm a big fan. I was like, oh, okay, my bad.
That's
so
cool.
You forget sometimes, like behind the camera, it's all fun and games and you don't see it. But then when it happens in real life, you're like, oh damn, like, yeah, this is real. This is happening.
That's hilarious. I mean, it's the funny part about your friends doing that because
they're dogs. I hate them.
My friends do that to me all the time, and my brothers, and I'm just like, shut up.
They don't get it, man. It's like I do not want this. Like, please.
Yeah, I'm not ready for this.
All right, Rev, man. Thank you so much for your time. I feel like I could pick your brain for hours. There's a couple stories that I reckon are going to have to wait for another day. I'd love to do this in person maybe sometime in June.
I'm down. I'll be seeing you in June then.
That's it, man. I'm going to have to come down. I get to go to the Poker Cave. It's a dream come true.
You're always invited. Seriously. Anytime you want, bro.
Thank you, man.
If you're watching this, you found okJLUV from my channel because I'm on here. Make sure you subscribe to him right now. What are you waiting for? He's an awesome guy.
If you don't know who PokeRev is, or if you've never seen his channel, make sure to go and subscribe. It is literally youtube.com/PokeRev. And send him some love because you can see he's a guy just like you and me. All right, guys. Peace out.
Appreciate it.